Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Growing Up as Overrated podcast. My name is Jen, and I'm here with my friend and co-host, T. It is not uncommon to live with your parents as a young adult, especially during the pandemic. Rent is expensive, jobs are hard to find, and other factors can contribute to making this choice. But when you live with your parents as an adult, you start to notice aspects of their living style that clash with yours. Today, we will discuss how we deal with these disparities in our lifestyles. Now, into the podcast. Hi, T. How's it going?
Hello, Jen. I'm well. How are you?
Oh, life is living. Watching out my windows.
Yeah, I'm glad to not be covered in snow now. And I have 75-degree weather before I start into working life. So I'm excited about that.
Wow,
But,
dropping that
yeah,
bombshell right at the beginning, aren't you?
just dropping the beginning. Yes, I am done with my job search, and I'm very excited to be done with that. And so yeah, I've been kind of nesting in a sense and moving around my office again and doing all of that. And I watching all my anime before I might be too tired to do any of that. So yeah, I don't know. Spring is bringing good things. 2021 is bringing good things, and I'm happy about it. So
Yeah, I'm very excited for you. You finally did it. It's finally over.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm it has me really thinking a lot about I don't know, just the way that I want to be living, moving in the future, and just a lot of my more immediate goals, my more short-term goals of, eventually moving out whenever that happens, and how I want my kitchen to be, and apartment hunting. And even though I'm not actually seriously doing it probably for a few months, but I've definitely been thinking a lot about the way that I want to live in my adult lifestyle. And it's started to bring up a lot of difficulties in my relationship at home, because I am still living with my parents.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in a very similar boat, as you
Right.
know, where I'm employed in a different city from where I live, and I'm eventually going to move. I'm apartment hunting all the time on my apps just for fun, because I'm not going to move yet.
Sometimes
But
we do that together.
yeah, sometimes we're both looking at apartments and talking to each other about the apartments we find, which is fun. So yeah, we're both very into real estate, just browsing at the moment. And yeah, I'm looking at, my lifestyle and how that clashes with my parents. And I don't want to sound ungrateful, because
Yeah, definitely not.
I do appreciate everything that my parents are doing for me. Like, they're letting me stay at home rent free, which I
Yes.
know that is very lucky to have a place that I can
Yes.
live rent free. They're currently paying for my food, which is very, very nice of them, because they don't need to do that, but they do. And so I'm very thankful for all that they've provided for me, but I'm just like, living with them is not always easy.
Yeah, it's a power battle, right? So it's everything we say today is not out of ungratefulness for what we have, because we recognize our privilege, and that it's a privilege to have parents who are able to provide for you in this way into your adulthood life, or adult life. And and then to have them be kind enough to continue to extend their house to you. So yeah, I mean, I've been buying my own food since I was at 18 because I wanted to, because I have very different ideas of nutrition. Like, nutrition is part of my degree program that I did, and so I'm very into nutrition and all of that. And so I buy my food definitely out of choice, but also kind of out of necessity just because of our financial situations. But yeah, I'm definitely grateful for what they provide to us, but it does become a power battle as you grow older. And you start to see this as you're a teenager, right? Like, you fight with your parents a lot as a teenager. Well, most people do. I don't know anybody who doesn't. But it's because you're trying to find your boundaries, right? You're trying to grow your responsibility, and they're trying to manage your responsibility. Like, they're trying to like, okay, don't grow up too fast. Sometimes people have situations where it's flipped, where the parents are like, okay, you need to start taking responsibility for this, and then like their child is like, who's an adult, is like, I don't really want to, you know. But because of this, we're trying to expand into, you know, it's not an overly critiquing thing of like, wow, my parents, you know, don't do anything, right? How did they even live to this age? It's not anything like that. It's more of and I'm going to choose to make this a lesson for myself through their actions. You know?
Yeah, we're not trying to be complaining just for complaining's sake. We're trying to take what we have observed that we don't enjoy about our parents' lifestyle and apply that to our own life as we grow. And that's not necessarily saying that the way they live is bad. It's just that we want something different.
Yeah, it's just different.
And like, boundary setting is important when you're an adult and you live with your parents. And I'm not the best example of this. I don't have a lot of boundaries. I basically still live in this house like I did when I came home for summers when I was a college student.
Yeah,
You
which
know,
is very different from how I am. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I still feel like I am a child in this house, and that doesn't particularly bother me right now. I am only 23. It like, I'm not that much older than I was when I came home for summers in college. Um, you know, so
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm somebody who really loves having independence. That's something I really value. And so from a young age, I've always been like, hey, like, you know, I think I'm responsible enough to stay home by myself before my brothers were, you know, like at an earlier age than my brothers were. Um, and bringing up those conversations of like, hey, I'm responsible enough to take on this responsibility. You know, give me that bill. I'm going to pay for it on my own. Like, those are things I really push for because I value independence, and I don't want to have anybody be able to say that I owe them anything. So it's difficult for me actually to take help from a lot of people, because I want to do it on my own. And so that can be really challenging and actually creates quite a lot of arguments with me and my parents because, you know, I'm their youngest kid and I'm their only girl. And so they, you know, it's hard for them to let go and become true empty nesters. And my timeline in life is different from the timeline that maybe they expected for me to do things, right? So I don't know. It's just, I personally just, you know, I'm like, I want this space in the fridge, you know, for my food. I want, so that we're not like eating each other's food because we pay for separate food, you know. If I get something where I'm like, I want to share this with you, I'll share it with them. But like, for the most part, it's like, I don't, like, my dad doesn't really remember what he buys a lot of the time. So we used to have a problem where he would use my food, and then I was like, dude, now I can't cook dinner. And so I had to create this system and this boundary in the fridge of anything that's on this shelf and in this drawer is mine, you know? And it, I don't know, it was weird because I don't know, from a very young age, me and my brothers have always kind of treaded on sometimes being our parents, um, because of like some mental illness and stuff that possibly could be present um, with my parents. But like to be really raw and real, I have always grown up in a home that has a lot of clutter in it and too much stuff in like boxes, and like there's always just like boxes of stuff everywhere, and it drives me up a wall. So the issue is that my parents have a lot of stuff and they take a lot of hand-me-downs from people. And I would call it like, it's not hoarding like you see on those hoarder TV shows. It's it like it's still a livable space. And we've done a lot of work to keep that at bay, but you can definitely tell in times of hardship they struggle with getting rid of things. They struggle with having somebody give them something. If somebody offers them something, it's definitely coming home. They can't say no to bringing an object home if it's free. So it's hard to keep it at bay, but I want to, as a child of people who have hoarding tendencies, like kind of speak to an awareness of the fact that it's not the anomaly that they try to make it out on TLC and those kinds of shows. It's really a mental illness. It's it's classified under anxiety. And
that makes so much sense.
Right, because you're trying to, there's different types of hoarding and different reasons that people hoard, but it's a sense of control that you have when you keep stuff. And so each of my parents have different types of hoarding. My mom is more sentimental and my father is more what they call like a Chicken Little hoarder. So like, what if the sky is falling? Like, we want to prep, you know? And I don't know, like, I'm not mad that they keep a lot of the stuff, honestly, but the thing is that the issue always becomes like, what's more important, the stuff or the relationships around you? And so, I don't know, like, as a kid, I couldn't have friends over. It was massively embarrassing. We were always telling people, oh yeah, we're getting ready for a garage sale. That's why there's a bunch of boxes in the front room. And that's painful and can be really lonely for a kid to not be able to just have people over without being massively embarrassed. So I tend to go more towards the minimalist type of situation, and that is why I have had to set a lot of the boundaries that I've had to set with my parents. And it can seem harsh. I think a lot of the times they think I'm being really cold to them. But the reality is it's for the betterment of our relationship. And my sanity.
Yeah. Yeah,
but,
I totally understand that. Like, my parents are not that bad. Not
Right.
even close. But they do have just lots and lots of stuff in this house. And I sometimes think about how, like, I mean, they want to move somewhere. But, like, even if they move, they're still going to have a lot of the stuff. And then someday I'm going to have to sort through the stuff.
Yes.
And I know it's going to be me because my sister's across an ocean. So I'm going to be the one sorting through the stuff.
Yeah.
And like that kind of gives me anxiety sometimes when I think about like all the stuff in the basement that we have. That one day I'm going to have to go through it all.
Yep.
And a lot of it I'm not even going to know what it is. Like some of it belongs to my grandmother. But I don't even know what stuff belongs to my grandmother.
Yeah.
And so it's just a giant mess that is one day going to have to be addressed. It's not today, but
Yeah.
someday it will have to be dealt with. And
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say my parents have a cluttering problem. I mean, our house is never clean. There is stuff everywhere, like little knickknacks and whatever, and our house is never clean. But whenever I would invite friends over and stuff, my mom would always be like, "The house isn't clean,"
Yep.
you know, like, and she'd be like, "Your room's not clean." I'm like, "My friends don't care if my room's clean."
Yeah.
Like,
I wanna just insert a clarity of definitions real quick. So for clean, that typically means things like dusting, washing, like actual you know, cleaning, but like tidying is getting rid of clutter.
Okay, I will have to
and tidying it away. So I think you mean tidying.
I mean both.
For the most part, yeah, like both, like but
in
like
my
as
house,
maintenance,
cleaning,
but
yeah, in my house, cleaning refers to putting away stuff most of the time.
typically that's like the first thing that we do, is tidy the stuff away so that then you can clean. But when there's stuff everywhere, it's hard to clean, to actually do the washing and the
Yes.
wiping and the sweeping.
Yeah, our house, like when my mom would say our house isn't clean, it was the combination of the two. It was stuff everywhere and stuff wasn't clean. And whenever I say my room isn't clean, I also mean both. Clutter everywhere and also not clean.
Dusting and vacuuming are like so tedious, and I hate them both.
I also hate them both, but like it's kind of funny what you realize like when you move out and live in your own space. Like my roommate, for example, when I lived with my roommate, my side of the room was almost always clean. It would occasionally get dirty when I was busy and stressed out about something, but it was almost always immaculate. And that was mostly because it was a small space and I didn't have a lot of stuff. Like when you have fewer things and you have a small space, it being clean matters more.
Yes.
And you spend time doing it. And you actually worry about that. And so like I've discovered from living in a dorm with a roommate that like I also want less things in my life, just in general.
Yes.
Less items.
Yeah, I really love, like many people do, the Marie Kondo thing of like, I really want to love everything that's in my space. And if I don't either love it or have an extreme use for it, then I don't need it. And it can go out into the world and go find a new owner. Or I don't need to bring it into my space in that way. But yeah, having a smaller space definitely limits what you find important enough to keep in your space.
Absolutely.
Because I get claustrophobic personally, quite easily. So I like to have, like, I like cozy spaces, but I don't want them to be too cozy. like there's a point where you have too much stuff in a space and it encroaches on your personal ability to enjoy the space. So yeah, like I think that having a large house, I think what a lot of people find out is as they settle down into a space, they collect a lot of stuff. And being more conscious of what you're bringing into the space and what you're keeping in the space more often makes it less overwhelming.
I mean, but you're calling me out right now. I'm literally I live in my childhood bedroom and I have so much stuff in here that I really
Yeah.
should deal with. Just looking around at all of the knickknacks and the crafts and the stuffed
Right,
animals.
but that's that's an emotional process to get rid of stuff, or to find a way to keep those memories without adding clutter to yourself. Like, um, like taking pictures of some things. Like, I have so much art from my childhood and from my teenhood. Like, I was in, you know, AP 3D art, and I made tons of sculptures, and I made tons of paintings in college, and I some of them I've sold, and some of them I've taken pictures of and they were broken, so I got rid of them. Like, there so I don't know. It can be challenging to let go of that stuff, and I think um the newer method that I've been hearing a lot about is Swedish death cleaning, which
What?
sounds so intense, but it's the concept of kind of what you were talking about a little bit about the basement, um, where um, you kind of come to terms with the fact that the stuff is not going to come with you in the afterlife. Or like once you die, like the stuff stays on Earth, and
Mm-hmm.
it's then the problem of your loved ones, and even if it's not death, that maybe it's just like moving to a retirement home, or
Mm-hmm.
changes that happen with age. And so you don't want the stuff to fall needlessly on your loved ones. And so really
Yeah.
taking that into account while you're looking at your stuff, going, who the hell would want would want this kind of thing?
Yeah, it's
I
just
don't know.
difficult. Like I'm gonna get a little bit personal here, with like some of the stuff that we just have that is sitting around. We have 3 sets of china in this house.
Mhm.
3. One from each set of my one from each set of grandparents, and then another one from a great-grandparent.
Yeah.
We use 1 set. The other 2 sets are in the basement. And I'm like, "Okay, why do we have 2 sets of china just sitting in boxes in the basement?"
Mhm.
Like, they're not being used. I don't want them. Nobody here wants them. Let's just get rid of them. Or
Yeah.
or let's accept the fact that when we put them in the dishwasher, they're gonna get ruined, but let's use them and put them in the
Mhm.
dishwasher. Because the one thing everybody hates about china is that you have to wash it by hand.
Yeah.
Um, like, it's just ugh, it's so annoying to me that things like that happen, and I was about 14 when one set of grandparents that was still alive, that lived in New York, moved to a retirement home in Connecticut. And
Yeah.
I just remember my mom and her brother, my uncle, going through my grandparents' stuff. And some of it still hasn't been gone through, and it's sitting at my uncle's house in
Yeah.
boxes still. Still! And my grandparents passed away years ago at this point. They were in a retirement home since 2014. Like, that stuff
Yeah.
has been sitting at my uncle's house for 7 years. Like, it
Yeah.
like, it needs to be dealt with, you know? Um,
Yeah. But
there's just stuff.
that goes back to it being a really emotional process. Like, especially if it's somebody who a loved one who's passed away and it's their stuff, and like there's an emotional aspect to that where it's like you have to kind of give them the benefit of the doubt in the fact that that's really difficult to deal with for them, possibly.
Mhm.
Like, yes, it's been a decent amount of time since they've passed, but or even been in a retirement home, but a lot of that is, I don't know. I haven't lost any of my parents, thank God, like, yet,
Mhm.
but I know that from friends who have lost parents already, um it's not really something that you just get over. Like, there's certain deaths where you're like, wow, that really sucks that they're gone, right?
Mhm.
But your parents are kind of another thing, or there's just certain people in your life who are just so special to you that you kind of can't, I don't know, you don't actually get over them, right? Like, it's like how yeah, like time will heal the wound, but you're gonna have a scar, you know, and you're gonna be reminded of that scar. um,
Absolutely. And I don't want to undersell like the emotional aspect of it. Like there
right.
is a huge emotional aspect, but to me I just come back to it and I think of like what got everybody into this mess. And like um cuz this is something that so many people deal with. Like, oh, my
Yes.
parents passed away and now I have all of their things.
Yep.
And it just it, it makes me wonder like how useful or useless rather family heirlooms are. I mean, some things are very special and I don't want to like say that all family heirlooms suck because that's not true. And some things hold
Yeah.
deep meaning.
Yeah,
But
you're not
like
actually being insensitive.
like so I understand that some pieces hold deep meaning to people and I don't want to be like, oh, all all of your emotions that you have attached to this item are meaningless. Like that's not true. But
Mm,
I think to some of the pieces of furniture in this house that have been in my family for more than one generation, and I'm just like, I hate this couch.
yeah.
Like, I hate it. You hate it. Why do we still have it? Like, do
Yeah.
we have it just because it was somebody else's? And is that a
Yeah.
good enough reason?
Right. Like, yeah, I would much rather keep something like my great grandma, I was born on her birthday. I think it was like her 80th birthday I was born on. And so we always had that kind of fun thing of like, oh, we share a birthday, you know. And so when I would visit her, um, she would always make sure to give me a little um like birthday trinket. And she collected really really cool antique salt and pepper shakers.
Mm.
And so I actually have a little set where they're like little Japanese figures who are like playing instruments with each other.
Oh, interesting.
Um, they're really cute. And so I keep those and I put them like amongst my plants. Um, and and then I have a little angel that has like our birth month on it, from her. And they're really like old fashioned kind of things, but that kind of stuff is kind of coming back in style, and I actually don't mind trinkets as much as I used to. Um, and so, there's things like that where I'm like, these are really special because they're from my great grandmother who is no longer with us, and we shared a special thing of like sharing our birthday, and she was just a really awesome woman. Like she made bombs in
What?
the war and stuff, like, and she was like a single mom and like raised two boys on a farm and like worked overnight like to support her family. And she's just a really strong woman and like great example of being an empowered female figure.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, like this is nothing about my stances on war, just to say that. But like I just think it's really cool that she did whatever she could to make sure that my grandfather and his brothers were taken care of. Um and she took that night job so that she could, take care of her kids. Even after
Mhm.
her husband passed. And so it just, I don't know. There's little things like that where I'm like, I'm gonna keep that. But if it's like a huge piece of furniture that just doesn't fit in my life and I don't like it, why would I keep it? Somebody else will love that so much and it'll get more love from somebody else, you know?
Exactly. There's different categories of family heirlooms, and some of them are just like you don't like if you really think hard in your heart and soul, you probably don't need them.
Right.
And obviously it is connected to grief and sentimentality, and it's not always easy to make those distinctions in your mind.
Mhm.
But I implore the people out there who are older that are listening to this, which is possible, maybe some of you are out there, to just think about the things that you leave behind to people
Mhm.
and just like try like try to make them feel not guilty about getting rid of your things. Because that's
Yeah.
part of it too, is that you feel like, oh my goodness, like this person gave this to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they must have cared about it a whole lot. I can't give it away.
Right.
Like, and that can be that feeling can be prevented.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think this also, goes into the idea that, um, as you grow older, you recognize that we're all just human. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like our parents are, um, just as human as we are. And when we're kids, we tend to idolize them and think like, oh, well, they have everything together, um, or like, well, once you're that age, like, why don't you know this at the age that you're at? But it's like everybody kind of comes to their own conclusions about things because we're human and we have, you know, like different experiences that contribute to the way that we see the world, you know. Um
Exactly. And so, like, to bring it back to like lifestyle changes and things like that, like it's all right to, when you're an adult and you observe your parents, to notice things that you don't like about the way that they live. Doesn't mean that they're bad necessarily. Just means that
right.
they're people.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's really important to just kind of give everybody some grace, and some consideration for the fact that everybody's dealing with something of their own. Um, and to not, I don't know, if you're going to critique someone's lifestyle, I think you should really check to see that it's coming from a place of kindness for their well-being instead of just pure judgment, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I think that goes for everybody across all ages. Like, I think everybody could get better at this, myself included. Of, like, you know, maybe we don't take, um, I don't know. Like, we let our parents kind of figure things out and take advice from everybody at all stages of life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I don't know. It definitely goes both ways of like your parents can judge you for for certain choices that you're making, and we judge them for things that they've done or are doing. Um, and I kind of think our schedules end up being a big source of that
Mm-hmm.
tension while you're living at home,
Well,
you know?
especially now with working from home.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Um, just the schedule thing. Like, both my parents get up early, um, and go to bed early. And I feel like they judge me sometimes for my sleep schedule. Like,
Mhm.
I start work at 8:45 in the morning. So I roll out of bed around 8:20, quickly shower, and then get ready for the day and sit down at my desk at 8:45 in the morning. And I go to bed around 11, 12, typically.
Mhm.
And like I feel like they just like look at my sleep schedule and are like, you should get up earlier and go to bed earlier instead of like
Right.
being tired in the mornings. And I'm like, I'm not that tired. I
Mhm.
actually get like a full amount of sleep. It's just that it's not the same sleep that you get. Um,
Right.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I often get a burst of energy later in the evening. Like, I it's not that I don't call myself a morning person. Like, I can be a morning person. I was very good at being a barista because of that. But I don't um I don't have the most energy in the morning. I tend to have the most energy between like 3 and like 9 o'clock.
Mhm.
a lot of the time. And so I tend to just kind of be somebody who slowly works up through the morning and then does a really big push before I go to bed. And so, but I can't really do that when my parents are like trying to go to bed because my dad works at like 4 a.m. or he wakes up at 4 a.m. for his job. So he wants everything to be quiet by like 8.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that ends up being a thing where I'm like, oh, I'm just not motivated to clean the kitchen. Like, I anxiety clean the kitchen late at night. That's what I like to do, but I can't. I can't
Yeah.
do that when they need to sleep so early.
Yeah, I also get desire to clean at like really late in the evenings. I don't know why. It just happens. And in college, this was great because my roommate and I would just both decide to clean at 11 o'clock and it wasn't a problem.
Right.
But now it's like, I can't just pull out the vacuum at 11 o'clock at night to vacuum
Right.
because people are sleeping.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's hard. Oh, laundry is a big
Mm.
part of the scheduling thing too.
Ugh, such a challenge.
Because I know, like, my dad gets mad at me because um I'm not the best at paying attention to my laundry. I kind of just let it sit sometimes for too long. Because I really hate doing laundry. But yeah, so like I'll let it sit in the dryer. And my dad's like, he texted me and he's like, please move laundry. And I'm like, talking on Discord or something with my friends, and my phone is almost always on silent because like otherwise my phone notifications give me massive anxiety. So I don't see that he's messaged me, and so he's already like thrown my laundry on the couch or something, and I'm just like, excuse me. At least put it in a basket.
Yeah.
You
Living in
know,
a
so
yeah, living in a dorm situation, you learn not to let your laundry sit.
oh yeah.
So I've grown out of that. And like I'm big on checking my laundry. My laundry problem is that my mom does laundry every Sunday
Uh-huh.
without fail. And basically takes over the laundry room for the entire day, which means that if I want to do laundry, then I have to do it on Saturday. And Saturday is my I don't want to do anything day.
Yes.
I don't want to do laundry. I don't want to like clean. I don't want to do anything on Saturday. So then like I start to be like, I need to do my laundry and it's Sunday. So then I can't do my laundry because the laundry was booked all day. So I end up doing my laundry in like weeknights, like late in the evening when no one else is doing laundry. And the other thing is that our laundry room is in our bathroom and it has
Oh,
very limited hanging space.
yeah.
So if I leave my clothes up to hang, then there's like no space in the so if I do it on Saturday, the day before my mom does laundry, I have to move all my clothes out of the laundry room before she can do laundry on Sunday.
Wow, okay.
So I have to then, instead of leaving them hanging in the laundry room, I have to take them up to my room and put them on my laundry rack that I
Yeah.
have, which is just more annoying. It means I have wet laundry hanging in my room. So it's just laundry is a whole mess.
Yeah,
For scheduling in this house.
I can imagine. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like having a laundry day. I like to kind of do my laundry as I need to do it. But that'll probably change as I get more into my work schedule. Like I'm definitely going to be getting more on a Sunday schedule again. And doing lots of meal prep and all of that because I don't want to be you know, taking all my lunch up cooking.
Exactly.
So, I'm probably going to get on a schedule again, and then I'm going to have to figure that out with my parents, and that's going to be annoying. But, I mean, it is what it is. And those are just kind of those things that, I don't know, you just kind of can't avoid in a family schedule. So, I don't know. It's frustrating, but whatever.
Well, it'll be over soon, hopefully, for both of us, because we will be moving out sometime soon.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, I am teasing an episode. We are going to have a moving out episode. Promise.
Yeah, we're probably. I think our plans are probably about the same time, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, so we'll eventually figure that out, and we'll take notes and tell you how it all goes. It should be interesting. But I think we're just about wrapped up on our conversation here, don't you think?
I do.
All right, well then let's transition into our silver lining / fun stuff. So what has been making you happy, T?
Well, so I got my new job, and then
Woo!
I also dyed my hair brunette, chocolate brown. I've been a blonde for a very long time. So, and then on top of that, I've been also redoing my Animal Crossing island once again. So, new hair, new job, new island. That is me.
I love how is this going to be the joke for 2021? Like,
yes.
New something, new island. It's just
yes.
going to be how we're going.
I'm like a phoenix. I just like I'm reborn constantly, so probably.
I still can't believe you're a brunette. Like, I still picture you as a blonde, so it's strange.
Yeah, you haven't seen me a whole lot
with brunette hair. No, I haven't.
Yeah. Well, what about you? What's making you happy?
Springtime, sorta.
Spring.
Like up here in the Northeast is not really spring yet. We are occasionally getting some 50-degree days, but most of the time we're still in the 40s. But I'm getting sunshine, and when it is warm, I can go down to the beach and read books, and I'm just having a good time with it. And I can't wait for the weather to get warmer. Not too warm though, because I don't really want the humidity to come back.
Oh yeah, I forget about humidity because I don't have it. I mean, we do, but it's not like noticeable.
No, it is not. It's not like it is over here. God. But I'm looking forward to springtime and April and May weather, and just enjoying the outdoors. I also want the leaves to come back out on the trees. They have not yet.
Yeah. The snow. Yeah, the snow hasn't let anything really grow here yet. So.
Yeah, no, it takes a while for the trees to come back here. I looked up, and it's gonna be like late April. I've still got like another month to go before leaves come on the trees, but it's fine. Warm weather is coming.
Fine. Well, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode. You can find new episodes every other Tuesday wherever you get your podcast. If you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, we can be found at @guio.pod. Please subscribe and leave us a review. It really helps us out. We hope that you continue to listen to us talk about our lives and hopefully learn something about yourself too. And remember, growing up is overrated.